Alright, so here is the corral and the chute. So they used to bring whatever we're thinking maybe cows or buffalo or I don't know, something like that, and load them up. And you can see how the wood and everything is pretty old, but yet there's been some, recent work on it where it has newer boards, but yet it's a little old with the new. But there's all these different corrals and barbed wire and everything, like it just was left. Different arenas, or different corrals. I call arenas back my days of being in the horses. But yeah, the corrals. And yeah, so all different sizes. But interesting, and an old water tub there. Doesn't look too old. Yeah, so pretty interesting. I'd like to know the history about this place. But boy, it sure would be nice back in the day to be able to have a place like this with this kind of view all the time. Yeah. Alright, so that's the corral, and then I'll show you our little walk that we did, and talk about that in just a second. Hi friends, this is part 2 of our pit stop that we did just outside of the Lake Powell area. Actually, it's further up the road. And in part 1, I explained that what was happening. We were on our way to central Utah, but we found this perfect little pit stop, and so we stayed for a couple of days, and it was also a perfect area for Kent to work his ham radio. So we pulled into this beautiful, it was really a cool area to explore. So we pull into this area, but unfortunately it was very hot, and this is at the beginning of June. So it's about 98 degrees, getting into the triple digits. So in part 1, I explained some of the things we did to, beat the heat. And so I give some tips and how to stay cool, and also for Milo. Now later on, I'm going to go more in depth that I didn't do in part 1. I'll actually show you later on how I, wet the coat, and how I put it on Milo, and just some more in-depth tips that I have to do, especially with Milo or some dogs, to keep them cool and to keep them hydrated as well. So stay tuned for that coming up. Okay, so we start to do this hike that I mentioned in the part 1, where we go and explore around the base of the sandstone hills that were backing our camping area. So it's a really cool area to explore. So I hope you enjoy the clips that I have as we're exploring this area. But I did get myself into a little bit of trouble because of the heat, and dealing with a little bit higher elevation now, and not getting myself hydrated enough before we even left. I think that was the key too. So first, enjoy these clips, and then once you see all the exploring we did, then I'll explain at the end what happened to me and what I learned from this situation, okay? Look at this, walking through here. This is so cool. The way the rocks are. Huh. There's flowers growing up in between them. There's kind of like holes in the rocks, or I'm gonna go walk up to them, at least one of them, see what it looks like. get closer to that rock up there. Okay, so we came up to one of those holes that we're seeing out by our trucks and van towards the sandstone. Oh, look at the bunny. I think I got him. It's going so quick. Yeah, I'm sure water, monsoon season, is just ripping down through here. It's pretty cool. Wanted to see what it looked like. And then I'll try to turn around. And then that's out that way. Actually, with Kent, there is a really good perspective of how high that is. How big it is. Pretty good. Gives a good perspective of that. It's very pretty though. Some plant life in here too. Okay, now I'm inside of it. And well, at least you get shade in here. Get a break from the sun. Yep, this is what it looks like. Inside here, look at the little holes that's in the rock. It's pretty cool. And that looks like moss. Yeah, that must be where the water must come ripping down through there. And then you can see on the other side too, definitely. But it's pretty cool. I used to explore a lot of caves and stuff like that when I was younger. Love it. To be curious. Alright, I'm gonna go explore some more. Explore those little holes. Tiny little holes in the mountain. Sandstone hills. And look how pretty up there. Oh my gosh. This is so gorgeous in here. I just love the way all the different formations that is going on the surface of the rocks and holes and different size holes, and it's so cool. And then there's still plant life going on, even though it is close to almost 100 today. And that almost looks like a turtle. There's Kent out there, and Lake Powell is out there. Can't see it from this spot where I'm at. But yeah, when I hike around on a hot day like this, I freeze my water bottle, and then so as it melts, I got nice cold water to drink. Okay, we're gonna go explore inside there. Okay, getting closer to it, but people had to tag it, of course. I wish they would leave it natural, you know, leave no trace. I wish there was more people in the world that understood that. And it goes on over on this side. It just takes away from its natural beauty, but what do you do? Alright, well, but look how pretty it is. And then there's, again, perspective of Kent, of how big it is, or tall. It's incredible how it was formed in this way. Alright. There's a billy goat right there. A big horned sheep. I don't know if he got it.
I have a cool spot way in the back there. You can get up underneath and get a good
Look at how kind of like a swirly formation of the rock on the surface. That's so cool. And then all the holes up above. And then we just came from that way. You can tell all the water goes through that area because of all the plants from the top of that mountain. All the vegetation that's around it. Pretty cool. Oh, there's a big jackrabbit right there. See him? He's not moving, he's just staying still right there. I'm sure he's going to move as we approach more closer. I'm out of breath. We're almost back. Oh, there he goes, across the road. He's like, I'm out of there. At the last spot that we were exploring, that you're going to see, you're going to notice that I am breathing heavier. I'm trying to get my breath. At one particular point when I got there, I got really lightheaded, like really dizzy, and I was like, whoa, you know, and I grab onto the rock and I'm trying to drink some more water. And at that point, I'm already starting to feel, you know, just this extra pressure on my chest, just from all the walking and everything, and harder to breathe. So you'll notice that. And that should have been my warning sign to just stop and rest for a little bit. But I didn't. So I continue filming. And I captured the last beautiful part, which was pretty amazing. And then I'll tell you what happened after that. We were noticing the way this is layered with all the rocks on it. Isn't that weird? That is so cool. Like it's just, all of them are just embedded in it. And then all over there too. Pretty amazing what nature does. Yeah, that's all by the, you know, the weather, the water, you know, from definitely the water, and then all the rocks. You could see all the rocks from the bottom, so there must have been high water at one time in through here, and then of course it just embedded everything into the rock. It stayed there. Pretty cool. I think it's so amazing. There too. So amazing. Okay, so after I film this last spot, we start to get back onto the road that will take us back to Kent's truck, but it's still like way up there ahead of us. And my heart is like, you know, that pound, 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 like it just felt like I had ran a marathon, and then gasping for the breath, and my legs were getting weak, because I do have neuropathy and some spinal issues. And so, and I didn't take my stool or anything to kind of rest. And here's the difference between Kent and me. So Kent was doing the same walk. He didn't even take water. But I get myself, just because our bodies are so different, my issues are different. So, you know, and I didn't really get myself, I think, hydrated enough before the walk was the key. We went in the middle of the afternoon, so it was about like 12:30-ish to 1. It's picking up in heat, so that wasn't something that I would probably ever do again, especially when it's really, really hot. Go earlier in the morning before the heat. or right near sunset. Usually we do most of our walking and exploring at sunset because it gets cooler, you know, around that time. So those were the things that I would definitely do different and bring more water when it's hot like that. I think nice idea. I mean, I do freeze my water. I've done that before, but it's been like 70, 80 degrees, and that little bottle is enough to get me back. But when it's about 100 degrees, that frozen water and drinking was not enough. I needed a lot more water than that, probably a couple bottles of water that I could easily drink. So I would do that differently when it's hot like that. So we get back onto the road, and I just collapse. I mean, I just, whoo, I go down and can't, like, and I'm just breathing. I'm trying to get my breath, and I'm dizzy, and I'm just over, you know, just dehydrated, I should say. So I'm just so dehydrated and just woozy. It was awful. It was kind of a weird everything I went through. So, he runs back to the truck, and then he comes back with some water and everything, and even, you know, dumped some water on me to cool me down, drinking some water, but it left me just really woozy, really unstable, and I did not feel good for a while. He had to help me to get back to his truck, and then I had to just sit, and I just, no matter any movement, I was just dizzy. I just couldn't get stable enough to move around, and I just kept drinking and drinking, and I just sat for a good, I don't know, maybe hour and a half or hour before I even attempted to get back to my van from his camper. So anyways, I'm so glad he was there. Oh, and he gave me a cool rag. He was so sweet. So he got a cool rag and gave it to me, and I just kept it on my forehead and everything just to help cool myself down, and then also get my hydration back up again. So that was something new. I have never experienced anything like that in my life. So I hope everybody learns from my lesson all the things that I should have done differently, and especially with dealing with that kind of heat. But anyways, it was a fun, really fun walk though, as you see. Very cool. A lot of cool things to see. So I would love to go back at a different time when it's a much cooler time. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and also learning from my experience with the do's and don'ts, and then enjoy the rest of the clips at the end here. And I love you all, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you, and I appreciate everyone out there for watching and for subscribing to my channel. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, and together we can make a difference with my favorite charities, Wilderness on Wheels and Meals on Wheels of America.